Good morning, happy people. My name is Jay Sung. Today is March 16th. Everything in today's video is never financial investment or trading advice of any kind. Everything's just for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. I eat red crayons for breakfast. Trading the markets carries substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, and especially be aware against high leverage trading. Past performance is never indicative of future performance. All right, our first request comes from a crypto called XEP. All right, we're going to open up our dime charts. All right, I got some one-on-ones later in the day with some of the people in our community. So if you guys need a one-on-one, you can schedule one. And we'll come back to USDT.D in just a moment. All right, Melody, go ahead and start the recording right here. So XEP, I got on crypto.com, and it's going to give me some data as far back as 2022. Crypto.com does not have volume, so we're going to use the other one, XEP on MEXC exchange. And this is going to go just a little bit farther. Okay, here we go. I got this chart on a 3-day chart, and I'm going to first turn it to a 2-week and then a month, and we're going to see what we got here. All right, so we'll start here at a month. We got some simplified candles, and let's take a look. One of the first things I'm going to spot out about this chart, remember, you can start in any direction, draw, which let the picture become clear after you've drawn your map. Then you can make some allowances for biases and stuff. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a parabolic here, and I'm also going to draw a straight. So I got an angle, and I'm going to try to collect. You can see that I can't draw the cores without missing the cores, and they're misaligned with the wick. So I'm definitely going to be looking at the parabolic, although the bottom side is definitely straight. And I'm going to draw this. I'm going to bring these up to the core. So I'm catching the meat of these, and there I'm going to duplicate and make the mid phantom. So the key angle will be on the bottom, and then you can see that what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to bring this up and line it up with the wicks. And core, wick, core. This is going to be good enough. So these are the two health, and they're all in the same area. This is the first part of this health for this crypto, and price sitting on this flat and trying to break above this line right here. That would be a bit of the first part of this health. There is 15 days left to go in this monthly candle, but it'd be somewhere right here. And this is where we're going to want to start looking at the volume. Okay. All right. Ooh, fantastic. Can somebody tell me what's fantastic about this chart? Let's take a few moments. These are the kind that I like to talk about if I see them. Very rare to find. Very rare to find. I do have some concerns about this chart, but what is fantastic? Professional accumulation. Accumulation, says Jeff. Bridget says professional accumulation. How do we know? What are the signs that it's professional accumulation, and what is needed to complete this? Okay, there's two things that could be needed to complete this, but what are the signs that we're looking for professional accumulation? Somebody put it in. High volume on the down bar. Yeah, we don't just have a high volume on the down bar alone, although that's great. The down bar might be this bar, maybe that bar or that bar. We want high volume in those clusters or those groupings. Something like this would be high volume on maybe the down bar here and here. We get some very low volume to spread, but the move is into health. So high volume on these bars right at the bottom is great. Okay, but something more than that we're looking for. Okay, more than that. We don't see it often in the cryptocurrency market right now. But this is where you break out your chart nodes. Okay. High volume on the what? It has to do with volume. It's not just a down bar. Can somebody explain it to me one more time? This stuff is the stuff that's going to save us a lot of money. Try to help position us, and then we're going to talk about the concerns we have after that. Price is coming down. Volume is going up. That's right. That's what we're looking for. That's the answer I'm really looking for. Professional accumulation happens on the down bar. Okay, this is the down bars. The down move / down trend with support or weakness with support in the volume in the background. Okay, so if you have a move that's into health and you're still within your health and you start seeing the volume rising, you're looking for that as a sign of professional accumulation. So the down move, downtrend, professionals, that's where they enter. They have to enter this way because they have to hide their intention. When everyone is dumping their stock, if they were the only player and they're selling, they're going to drive prices down against themselves. According to Tom Williams and Gavin Holmes, who actually did some of that professional, his mentor, Tom Williams, used to do this kind of stuff. They would meet in, I always say, what they would describe as smoke-filled rooms. The banksters used to get together and they would target stocks. And so as the stock was on hearing bad news, the stock was going down, the volume was rising. And that was their signal to each other that they were jumping on board. So this is our first signs of professional accumulation. And we can mark this with a triangle if we wanted to. We can mark when as we start seeing things coming up. And I'm going to just draw a little triangle indicating that price is coming down, indeed coming down. Yet the volume is indeed rising. In fact, we can draw the volume using that same triangle, just for our record, from the same place. Yep. All right, so now we have volume rising and prices falling. And this is a sign of professional accumulation. I'm going to also place an arrow in this section here. And because it's not just at the down bar, it's very large. We're going to say large professional accumulation. What's another way we can know that this is large, a professional accumulation? What's another way we can determine this is large? There's a simple way we can do this. The answer's on the board. Okay. A few more minutes. We got to talk about these. We don't see them often. How do we know this is large accumulation? Okay. Somebody, anybody. How do we understand? Nobody? I got to get better as a teacher. Okay. The way we understand that it's large accumulation is also the time frame. See, 1M. What does that mean? Month. Each one of these is 1 month. So we're actually talking about several years here. April 2024 is at the top. March 2024 right here on the white bar. And then we come down. Okay, all the way until February 2026. So even the market crashing back in October has held price still underneath the previous low here. So actually price is still sitting in a good spot. Okay. All right. Now, what's the big issues that's facing this crypto? Because you guys need to understand, when they play, they're playing the long game. And a lot of people think this stuff happens overnight. It's not get rich quick. It's build wealth slow. If you can identify where the large players are moving out, or moving in and moving out, you're going to be a lot more better position. What was it? I think it was Warren Buffett. He says he doesn't pick many winners. He just picks 1 or 2 big winners every few years. And that's basically what he's really doing. Okay, April 2024 to all the way till current, which is March of 2026. Okay. Let's talk about, actually, to minimize confusion right now, because we do need to talk about this, I'll put all the way to October 2025. Right there, because the volume is changing here. We're going to talk about this in just a moment. Okay, what is now needed for this professional accumulation to be confirmed? The answer is going to be health. We need health to come into this crypto. The down move has to end Just like this bar, when we were isolating this component, you can see the high volume on the down bar. You can see it right approximately here, but the move needs to be in held before we can even start talking about buying the crypto. Okay. Just because the professionals are buying does not mean we need to buy, because we may not be on the winning side of history. Okay. Just because they're buying doesn't mean they're smart or they have the capital to be able to continue. This crypto was coming down since September 2023, and then the health came in right here on this bar of November of 2023. So all the way from September 2022 till November 2023, and then we get the health and price builds on there. How many months? Several months. 1, 2 months, and then we go up. Okay. So this is a very good type of thing. Now, at the moment we started falling on lack of interest, this wasn't indicating that there was a big crash, at least for this crypto. At that time, we're still well above the sword cut. And even now, we're just at the low because the market itself, the crypto market itself, was tanking back in 2022. I'm going to have in October of 2025, as we understood per our market reports earlier in last year and later in the year. Now, one of the things I'm going to do now is I need to look and examine when the health is coming in. So we're going to just put a price note above that parabolic. We want some closes above this price. We don't care the price. We just want to make sure that we're in the right place, in the right structure. Just right now, based on the parabolic curvature, we're starting to level out a bit. And we're going to level out, and I'm going to draw where we level out just to help you guys get ahead of the curve. So if you're like, well, Jason, I don't know how to draw all the tools yet, draw some flat lines. And you're going to draw the flat lines somewhere about right here. Okay. So that's going to level out, and the price where it levels out is 0.00021 to 0.00020. So 21 to 20, that's where you're looking to still build upon. So I need price to jump up and sit on these, or at least get some good strong closes above them before we start talking about going up. Okay. And now the support price is this is one of the best prices you can get. It's going to be 0.00017, 0.00015, and that's 171 and 154 if you really want to know. So this is going to be probably some of the best prices you can get, as close as you are to here. The problem right now is we're near the top, and now we need to examine, okay, is it now the breakout? Because that's a pretty wide spread, Jason. The percentage from here to here is about 20 to 32%. Okay, so we're talking about fluctuations about 20 or 32%, and you still being correct. So if price falls and you bought today, you need to understand you're probably buying near the top, not really near the bottom. Okay, so if you can buy it as close as you can here, that's great. So that's one thing. We need health. We don't have health. So we need to write this down. In our large professional accumulation, this needs health, okay, currently, and then we'll put above 0.00022, and that's a dynamic number, negative number, so this would come down just a little bit of hair as we go down a little while. So it's 0.21 to 0.22. Currently, it's 2.26. Okay, 2.26. We need to get above there. That's important for us. And we've been down there along this track for quite a time. All right, the next thing that's needed for this crypto is, the next thing that's concerning for this crypto is at the challenge area. Even though there's some professional accumulation, we have not really come to a lack of no demand, a lack of interest, or a no demand bar after this has happened, this accumulation. We're only dealing with the increase in volume from point A to point B, A and B. We can see that the volumes increase. So even though on this leg of the run, there may be some money coming in, the volume is increasing, which means there's still too much trading. Too many people want to play in this area. If you can't absorb the supply, and that's the key word for this, If you cannot absorb the supply between here and here, you do not have control / absorption. We do not yet have control / absorption. So we're going to need to mark these down, and I'm going to quickly call out, and I'll say A, and I'll say B areas. And I'm also going to put note increase in volume from A to B does not show signs of absorption. This indicates that price may still challenge the low as absorption as I would say, since I used the word absorption, as there is still much trading in these areas. Okay, what that means is as long as the large players are still willing to play and pay lower prices, that the big accumulators are fine with that, saying we don't need to buy it right now. We don't need to buy it because there's still too many people playing here at these prices. We can charge a very good price. Okay, we can still get away with a lot of money. Okay, because if they want to pay lower prices, which obviously they do, they launched a campaign somewhere about here, and we started rising. They were willing to pay these high prices, and now they're thinking they're getting a good deal. If you're in real estate and you're buying real estate, and I say, hey, you can get some houses for just $100. They're going to be like, okay, let's keep that up, and let's keep that up for a long time. Now, you might say, that's counterintuitive. Don't they want the price to rise? Yes, but only after they're in control. Absorption and control is all about who has and how much. Who has it, who's in control, and how much supply, floating supply is out there. Right now, there's a lot of people still willing to trade at this level, so they're not in control, the big players. They are trying to get control, and they are gaining control. But right now, they are not in control. Okay. Now let's put it all together. We'll write a report, and we'll move on, and I'll give you guys some final numbers to go along with this. Okay. But this is definitely something we need to have on our radar because we need that health, and we may get it in the future. XEP. So thank you very much, Mr. Easy, for recommending us to look at this crypto today. Today is March 16th, 2022. All right, and I think it was this weekend was St. Patrick's Day, so I hope many of you got pinched in the butt or in the arm or wherever they pinch you or wherever you like to be pinched. A pinch to grow an inch. I hope you ate plenty of Lucky Charms. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I saw everybody wearing green this weekend. This crypto shows signs of large professional accumulation identified from April 2024 to October 2025 on the monthly chart. We need a breakout. This price needs a breakout. Price needs a breakout to confirm the control of this current leg supply. Above 0.000226. Concerns. This crypto has an increase in volume from area A to B. This means that even when the professionals are entering, they do not have control yet. there is too much trading at these areas. This means too many people are willing to part with this crypto at the moment. Now, man, this could last several months and waste your time. Your job is to watch this, so we're going to set some alerts. Set alerts to continue watching this unfold. Ideally, lack of interest into health, or the no demand bar, it's called the no demand bar / bars, would be very beneficial, indicating professionals have absorbed supply. Okay, so we wrote all that. That's good. That's what we're going to need to see in this. All right. So what next? Okay, what next? What are we actually looking for? If we start going up, we can determine a lot of things, but one of the roofs I'm going to be watching out for is this. Okay, because they're all lined up. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to be watching there for 1. Okay. And that's going to be something that's of note. I'm also going to be looking for an issue and a problem, because the lowest energy center from this area here and here is actually right here, right there. And so therefore we need to make the key angle somewhere right here. So we're going to duplicate that key angle in that area as the phantom. And that means I'm going to be watching and have my eye about here. Another thing I want to confirm is, are we looking at DP right now? Because if so, and this would be a larger part of an oscillation. And the answer is almost. Okay. So between these energy centers, this is where we're supposed to play. This is where they lost money. We're going to draw these. We're going to draw the step up right there. And so that's also an area you're going to be looking for in the sky. And this is where a weakness would come in. So if we can't win the game by approximately October of 2026 this year, and price phases onto the underside, we'd actually be looking at a weakness. Price would be losing this oscillation. And we want to make sure we examine that. So I'm going to draw quickly the step up. And I wouldn't put as much weight on it if there was not 3 points, but there is. So this is our step up. And it's on a monthly chart. Okay, and it's at 3 zeros to right down the board, 4 zeros to 3 5. No, 4 5. Okay, about there. So there would be another health there. Price building above there would actually be very bullish. And we're looking at something like this so far. All right, something else I'm going to be paying attention to, since we have a flat here, I'm going to be using a flat on top in between those energy centers. That's going to be up there. And the number in the sky would actually be 0.00149 to 149 to 134. And that's 2 zeros, not 3. So by that time we lose a 0. And then let's keep track of the upper oscillation. Again, right now it's going to be somewhere around 40.004. So we're talking about losing a zero. So far, some of the money that might be on board after the breakout is somewhere around 2,000 to 1,000%, 1,900 and approximately 2,000%. So huge movements if we can stay within the oscillation. Very strong movements that are possible on the board. 2,000%. That's crazy, right? Melody, do you think you can bring my pen? It's on top of my Antoinette. Please. Okay, so there might be, thank you, sweetie. There might be some very strong potential here. All right, I want to look at only one more thing on this. I'm going to go all the way down to a weekly chart. And I'm probably not going to want to spend much time lower than a weekly chart because of how much volatility this is. We are going to need to clean this up because we got some candles on the weekly chart. So I'm not looking for weekly closes above here because we have so much evidence that the parabolic is not responding to this. So I really want to make sure that the parabolic that I'm looking at is not, the candle breakouts that I'm looking for is not the weekly chart. Does everybody understand that? This line did not origin on the weekly chart. So sometimes you come up, sometimes you come down, up and down, sometimes you're up and down. You can't really trust the breakout there, okay, at least on this. So we need to make sure that we label this where this line lines up, and we're going to call this monthly or capital M. Okay, monthly, and then we'll call it parabolic flat. So parabolic flat, that's where we level out, or LV. And then we're going to put dot monthly. I just sometimes put a capital, but for you guys, I'll make sure I put that. Okay. And then the @ symbol. So you know what you're dealing with. Okay. Do not use weekly chart. Do not use weekly closes. Everybody understand that? You draw your line where you see them and use that chart. If you can see it on the smaller and the oscillation is still powerful, you can use that chart. Otherwise, don't use it. Do not use weekly chart for parabolic breakout. Okay. You're going to set yourself up for failure. That's why sometimes you guys are all trading way too small and your oscillations don't make sense. And you can use your larger charts, but it causes you to have patience. All right, I think that's about all I want to draw right now. Almost all I want to draw. Yeah. And yeah, definitely be looking at the step up right now. I only got one more for you. Good. Yeah, everything's on the up and up. End cut resistance should have been exactly here, and it is in a few other places. So you end cut members, you guys are going to be just fine as well. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm looking for that one, and then I'm going to look for the battle. Right now, we're still in a bearish market, in my opinion, so we got to wait for just a little bit. Okay. Questions going once, this crypto? I will take some questions at this time regarding this crypto and our findings for today. Going once. Questions going twice. Okay. Let's look at the next one, S58. Let's see what we got here. Is it a stock? Okay, there it is. There it is. SGX exchange. Yeah. I'm going to go all the way to a 1 month chart. And then I'm going to go to a 2 month chart. And I'm going to go to a 3 month chart. And I'm looking for consistencies in pattern. Here's a flat. Here's a flattened block with a very wide spread. Top, bottom, top. And because of this, I'm going to use DP to the halfway point. And then we're going to duplicate the flat on the top at the top oscillation, and that's going to highlight a number for us. For us, this is going to be somewhere at $6.21 to $6.06. And we can label it DP flat. And then we're definitely going to look at something in the volume here. Good. 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 All right, let's see. Oh, okay. Let's go now back to the 2 month chart, and then we'll go to the 1 month chart. There's a lot of candles here, a lot of data. We're going all the way back since 2000. I'm going to just draw a few more oscillations than I'm seeing, and then I'm going to look for just a few more things. Okay, so that's approximately where it should. That's about the curvature of these 3 lines right here. I'm going to draw the under curvature. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is about correct. All right, there's my breakout number right here. It's just above here. I need a breakout on the monthly chart of 386 for this one. And let's take a look at what volume might be doing. Okay, so let me just take a picture of that, and then we're going to go to the volume. Because of the weak bounces right now, I am not going to just draw this peak to this structure here until it's complete, until we get a breakout. And then we can, I want to draw that big, I would draw that big area here. Otherwise, right now, we're still looking currently at some weaknesses in the battle that's going on currently in here. You can already draw this, especially on a monthly chart, you can. And you can draw it for your weakness right now. They're just, it's going to be where your delay is at. So I'm really going to use this area for my weakness. But stay ahead of the curve. I'm not going to put a lot of weight on the support just yet. Okay. So we're going to extend out the flat. And I'm going to draw where the weakness is. I believe it's really going to be underneath the flat. And then you can draw local weaknesses, of course. You're probably going to come up to one soon. I need to blow my nose, guys. Hold on. It looks like I'm allergic to charts. Just kidding. That's a smaller. Okay, so what I'm actually looking at, oh, I'll draw this first. 276, 2.33. Current price is really low. I'm sorry, really at 360 right now. 360 is the current price. Somewhere right here. And what I want to do is I want to look at the volume and see how we have high volume on the down bar here. This is where some accumulation came in, but it's not like the type that we were just talking about. Not the large accumulation. It's just on for this leg. Another thing this could be is a lot of stopping volume. When we see high volume, that kind of just stops us dead place. Right here, this is where we would want to be looking for that stopping volume. Somewhere in this area. But generally, stopping volume is going to come on the initial bars that hit. Okay, so like here. For the time, that was pretty high volume. Okay, when we just came here. So this would have been our stopping volume area. And not necessarily like large accumulation, but enough to sometimes draw us back. The problem with this one is even though it's going to give you a rejection, it's not enough to bring you back into health. And we know the health is easy because the foundational area. So everything that happened before then, how we got here, we're in this down move. What was the angle? What was that started it all? The foundational area is super critical. If you want to, you can label it foundational area, okay? Because all of this is super critical. How you start determines a lot of things. If I can track that angle, then people who are buying here are not so lost because they know that you're still in the foundational down area. How do we know that? Because we're still on the underside of that area. It's still in play. It's in play here. It's in play here. It's still in play. You understand? We need to clear that area before you can start talking about buying. Anybody, really. That's how you need to be thinking about foundational areas. Okay. Oh, there is some leeway. The angle itself also has a wick match from this area and this area. And that means that generally I want to be above here. With the stocks, you got to be a little bit, you understand that there's a little bit messy, but that's something you need to be looking at. Okay, so we had some buy, short-term buy. Make sure you take your profit and exit out of your buy. We're still on the underside of that weakness. Everything with here was telling us we're still bearish at that moment. Right? Everything here was still bearish. We didn't get the trade. We didn't get the trade. Now we got this other area here. So that would have been our good stopping volume. Then we got our next volume area, which is going to be here. We come back down and the volume increases again. And this time we trade in a range type area. Okay. We're going sideways. This is what we call in the markets consolidation. When you have consolidation on high volume, look at your next foundation area. It's about this angle right here. Continue it out. What is the move? Into health, a local health. You can break that down further if you wanted to, but basically that's going to be your angle. If you were drawing, it's going to be like that. Okay, there's your next foundational area you're watching. And so we consolidate a lot, but we consolidate into weakness? No, we consolidate into the next local health. Okay. So that's going to let us know there's danger here. No, that's not the right color, sorry. That's going to let you know there's some safety here. And it's approximately in the same area where we had been previously finding support. The old low, old resistances turned into new supports. That's a good area to buy as well. But we didn't break the foundational line, so what do? You take profit and you wait for the health. We come down one more time. What are we coming down on? Somebody describe now how this stock or whatever it is, SGX is coming down. Somebody describe it in the volume, because the volume is pretty clear on this monthly chart. Somebody want to do it? Jason Hungry, I don't care about this stock. Again, if you learn this stuff, you're going to see it on lots of crypto. Okay. Accumulation. And how do we know it's accumulation? Yes, there is some accumulation of Xbox. That's right. Good catch. How do we know there's some accumulation? Just like this. Okay. How do we know? Just draw it on the screen or unmute your microphone. Can anybody help me point me in the right direction? Why do we think there's accumulation? And yes. Okay, good. Volume increase on the down bar, says Jeff. That's right. The down bar has a close near the high. Okay, look at the down bar. It's a close near the high. And the increase in volume is at the down area. Now, we're going to add these together because now we have the makings of something. Okay. Now we have the makings of something and where the story's going to come together. So this one, again, could have been our initial stopping volume. Okay, we got that one for that possibly right here and here. Small accumulation or a slash, we're going to be professional accumulation. And we need to make sure we put small just for your learning. And then we got another accumulation into health. Okay. Actually, it's accumulation into consolidation and into health. Then health. Okay, so that's something we can mark. Okay, then the next one is going to be the last one. We're going to have some small accumulation on the down bar. All right. So what about the up moves? Were they interested in the up move at this time? No, the volume is decreased. So they weren't interested in the up move then. What about here? Were they interested in this up move? Somewhat. There's somewhat high volume here. Okay, on the second time around. What about the third time around? Are they interested in this up move? No, not at the moment. See, the volume's still coming down. But there's still some strong volume in that area, and that's a good sign. Okay? That's a good sign. So what can we gather overall may be happening? I believe that there's probably some absorption that is taking place because small accumulations add up to a larger absorption. And it's absorption at a specific price. It's the flat. If they're buying up every time that we get here, those add up to large players positioning themselves on the board, and they're positioning themselves at these prices approximately. So when we can now understand that they lose here, and they're also probably waiting for the breakout before the next move. I'd probably, since we still have some accumulation here that's still at the highs, we didn't get down to a no demand situation where the volume's really low and price is here. So I'm going to be looking for them to take another action if we get the breakout somewhere above here. A secondary accumulation. It's probably what I'm going to be looking at in the future. Okay, somewhere after the breakout, you're going to look for high volume on the down move. Now let's finally finish up talking about the local stuff that's happening now. Okay, we're going to talk about this local move. So this local move, we're talking about the last month and the last year. Looks like since March 2025. So about the last year. We come up here, we have high volume on the down bar along the support. What might that be for this last month here? High volume on the down bar and the support with the close near the middle / the high. Okay, what might this be? And how can we respond and take action? Anyone? High volume, down bar, into the support. We close near the high / the middle. Anybody going once? Come on, what is it? Is it good or bad? Buying. Yeah, buying. That's right. It's probably buying and also accumulation locally in this leg. If you're going to pay the best prices along this leg, where do you pay? You want to pay along the curvature. They already know this. This has been established for many years. For many months, right? Since March, here's June, here's what? November. They know this. If they already know this curvature, that's the natural parabolic curvature. And that's you can feed that into an algorithm. You can use your eyes. If you can pay in an uptrend, we're still in this uptrend locally. If you can pay a price, you want to pay here. So there's going to be some money that's going to come in, and that's that money. So that's actually a good thing to close off of that. That means that there's so much buying that is coming off the support right where it should be. So that's actually a very good thing. So we can actually put a little text box or a call out. We can say local buying. Local buying. Local buying. This is going to be some professional buying. Along support indicated by high volume, down bar, close near high / middle. Okay. High volume. High volume on a down bar into that support. Okay. Oh. Okay, along / into the support. Okay, so how I would take action is I would also focus on that oscillation. And basically what I would do is, since the spreads are still that wide, I'm just going to be looking for the next breakout. And I can also use this parabolic to help me with another breakout price. So that's going to be somewhere about there. All right. Anyone other questions regarding this crypto or this stock? $4.04. Look for a battle along there. I really need to get into that 360, 36 range. I would love to get me a significant breakout. Don't just get me to the wick area here. I want a significant breakout, but it's looking good. It's looking good as it is right now. Looking real good. Okay, last time we were here having that down move, we didn't have that kind of volume. It was no demand. Okay, go ahead. No, you're gonna have to. We can look at it in the end class, or you can submit it for a request for an end class if you're an end class member. Okay, Jeff. Nope. All right, Dive. We're gonna focus a lot on maps, but not so much always the specific techniques. Okay. But you want to, I know you came to the class. I think you did. Try to put what you learned. Otherwise, we'll work with you more in the end class. Our next session is on the 25th, fourth Wednesday, I think it is. We'll go over the schedule at the end. Okay. Any other general questions regarding this stock? I like it. We're probably going to be going up soon. Okay, but we need that breakout. Okay. I'm going to look at ZNOG. I'm going to read on the board what I got for you, the map, some information about this. Let's go to the last one, January 17th and January 26th. Weather update on February 16th. This stock is reacting bullishly to this map. This move into health is on strong volume. This indicates possible bullish pushing with the current pullback into old resistance and support back on January 17th. So let's go to a 1 week chart. Yeah, somewhere about right here for that week in high volume here. Possible bullish pushing right there is what I let you guys know. The move into health on strong volume, bullish pushing with current pullback into old resistance support. The weekly chart has a nice close above at 34 cents. And the pullback is on strong volume. So the pullback into this support, which is along this track right here, guys. Okay. You can see, did we get the pullback into that area? Yes, we did. Okay. On the pullback in the support is on strong volume. It appears the down bar is high volume buying. So we had a down move with high volume still. Maybe there's some buying coming in there, is what I was believing at the time. The confirmations are the candles closing off the low, but should be more confirmed with the higher high. So we need to get a higher high. Remember, the breakout is in a very strong area. The main resistance is at 98 cents on the Phantom. The next main resistance, 98 cents. That's going to be up there in the sky, right here. Okay. I am bullish this stock. Look for a stronger vortex. That's where things are going to be converging. All right, in January 26th, I wrote no new update, except price did make its new high. A second pullback is unlikely. So getting another pullback after those is going to be unlikely, is what I said in January 26th, because we already got the pullback. So getting two of them I'm not expecting. ZNOG, February 16th, the stock has a breakout and still above 36 cents, and JSON target at 95 cents area is still in play. I am bullish ZNOG at the moment. Price has yet to pull back towards other supports. It's sitting there on the Phantom Wick angle in yellow, 36 cents. All right, so that's basically still everything that I'm looking at, and I really don't have any other update for you guys for that stock. So if you guys want more information about that, you need to see the video from January 26th or January 17th or February 16th. Okay, does everybody have any other real questions for me regarding ZNOG. Okay, watch those videos. It's going to show you how to replicate and recreate what it is I'm looking at. This was a very large breakout for ZNOG. I am bullish this stock. I believe it's going to be going up towards 96 cents area. I have an RSI marker for price base. Yeah, but now we're in the breakout, so we don't need the RSI marker anymore because we're going to be reading the downside. Okay. Yep. Yeah, this is a very strong breakout of this oscillation. This is where we're really looking for in the wick side. Also here, let me double check anything else I need to double check. I'm going to go to a monthly chart, and we still should be pretty good. Above 98 cents, I got a resistance somewhere at closer to $1.69, and then the DP at 5, that's going to come down along the track, and this one's also slight down angle. So I'm going to be looking, if it's somewhere this year, we're looking at numbers 186 and $5.24, but that's basically my longer term map. If we can hit some higher numbers, that's what I'm looking at. So I'm bullish ZNOG. Any other questions for me, my friends? Okay, Triple J has some old numbers that might be somewhere 1-2 cents area. Our low so far on here was down to 2 cents in October 2024. Okay, so that was back in May 2025. Clean up Israel, then what happened? Here 4 cents. Triple J has a 4-cent number, or basically hit that number this week, past week, 40.44. 4 cents is important. If it's important on the map, then on this map it's a negative area. The supports are 5 cents. I wrote, so 4 cents is a negative, especially on this chart. Was there negative next to 4 cents? I don't know if it's negative anymore at the moment. Currently price is right there at that 4 cent. Is it currently resistance? No, it's not as negative anymore. Okay. Okay, so I need to delete that. We're going to have to re-examine 4 cents, but I'm not so concerned about it right now. All right. Yeah, actually it was. I'm sorry. We're going to draw something real quick, make sure. All right, we need a breakout right here for 4 cents. Because, 4 cents, 40? Oh, we're at 40 cents. Okay, then we need a breakout above 40 cents. 0.42, 0.46, 421, 040. Oh, no, 0.406. So I would be using this area as another health. If you get it, it's going to be an important health if you can get that one. That's going to be your next area, and that's going to be a great. So if you guys are waiting to take action on ZNOG, structures above this are going to be quite beneficial. This is where your current end cut is at. Okay. Or one of the current ones. And I think that's all I'm going to give you guys. Okay. iPad says, can it crash to 44 cents? Crash to 44 cents? If it's at 39 right now. Can it crash to 4 cents? Oh, okay. I don't know. Let me check a look. Date March 16th. Prices, current trend. ZNOG. Okay, can it crash to 4 cents? I don't see it crashing right now. We don't. High volume into the health. I'm not going to be looking at that as a bearish thing, so I'm not expecting it at all to crash to 4 cents at the moment. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Can it crash? Oh, can it crash at 44 cents? I guess anything's possible, right? But I don't see that in my data. I don't see 44 recent. I don't see this as a very strong end cut. I'm not looking for that. I'm going to be looking for that as something beneficial if you can break above there. Okay, yeah. There's other areas I'll probably want to focus more on in the sky, but not right now. The numbers that are above $1, we'll need to examine that. All right, any other questions? Okay, the next crypto is Ethereum. And we're going to look at it on Binance. See what we got. All right, what do we got here? All right, my last big update. Price continues to behave as expected. However, strong professional. Oh, I didn't finish the word. Strong professional something. Strong professional what, Jason? Is being identified. It is currently unconfirmed as of today, and when price closes below that, the flat of 18.18. Oh, okay, so that might be negative. There's also large support at 1743 on the 3-day chart to 1-week chart time frame. So let's go to 1 week and see what we're looking at. Large professional selling. Okay, large professional selling, unconfirmed. Okay, it was selling, should be selling. So let's just say selling is being identified, currently unconfirmed as of today, and will be when price closes below the flat of 18.18 flat. So we're looking for 18.18 flat. There's also a large support at 1743 on the 3-day chart 1-week time frame. Strategy: if prices closes below 1743 on the 3-day chart, I will take a short towards the JSON target of 1160 and 1015. So this is where my next short is. It's going to be under here, as I let you guys know, back on February 11th. The flat is actually a target, it should be, right? 1818. Oh, that's here. Professional selling identified. When it will be confirmed when price closes below 1818. Okay. So 1818. That's not this area. That's down here. This was a target and it's already done. So price is bouncing in this target area. but I am going to draw a flat at 1818. Where is the current flat at right now? There should be some kind of flat here because I gave you guys that number. 1818. Okay. All right, we hit here twice. 1, 2. So we're still looking at unconfirmed professional selling, and we're going to need to confirm that. Another thing is that because we got the bounce back in here, this is not the parabolic oscillation. We're actually going to be dealing with two different angles. The angle is going to be more sharper like that, something like that. Okay. So let's draw that on the board, and we're going to delete the mid-phantom. And we'll delete some of these other numbers that we don't need on the board at the moment, just to clean up our chart. All right. Okay, I'm going to draw the local health. And this is where Ethereum needs to be before we start talking about being bullish. And let's just break this down. Here's what you need. Okay. If we're going up, we want high volume on the down bar, which will be nice. We need some high volume on the down bar. Is it really selling? It shouldn't have been selling. It should have been. Why would I put professional selling there? Oh, maybe I was just only looking at the straight there. When it comes back in health, that's going to change the context anyway. Good. We want high volume on the down bar. We got a high volume on the down bar off the high here. So that could be good. But this could also be our stopping volume here. Because now that we're back playing within the normal oscillation, we can draw and extend this out as a temporary placeholder, as a phantom to the lowest area. But we're probably going to be understanding that we're dealing with a different oscillation since that we got a lower low. So we're just going to draw it and extend it like this and make sure we have a different color altogether, because we're dealing with really two different colors or two different angles. And the other thing we're going to draw is try to line this up with the beginning, the foundational area. So basically what I'm looking at is this: wick, core, some wick. This is approximately the area. Okay, we can use this. If price further breaks down, it's still, again, underneath the vortex, just like we talked about. And 1818 and that 17 number. Okay, so it's all right there. Okay, still all right there. Clean up this chart. Okay, just to simplify things. Now, something else we're looking for in the volume, we need to mark this down. So this could be the start of some accumulation along this track, maybe into a health. We don't got the health, so we don't have permission to buy it. Foundational area is still in play. I got to be very careful. And I want to look at some other things that were happening in the past, like harmony. Okay, I'm going to talk about harmony real quick. Harmony is when price is going the right direction. Harmony is when volume is backing you up. I'll block out this to quickly get you up on board. Here's the down move. Here's an up move. Here's a down move. Here's an up move. What we're looking for is volume to tell us what is the right direction. Okay? So when we were coming down the first time, volume was trading somewhere here, maybe a bit unclear. But when we started going up in this area, volume started trending down. Okay, volume was going the wrong direction. They don't want higher prices at this time. We come down in the same area, volume starts going up again. They're interested in the down move. Now, if we go up again and the volume goes down one more time, then we know that they're not interested in this up move, and the down move should likely resume. So that's going to be something to pay attention to next. Pay attention next towards lack of interest. We can add that to our report right now on the weekly chart. Okay. Let's give ourselves a bit of a new report, March 16th, including our findings. Some support has been had at the 1743 areas / vortex. Okay, because it was a lot of support from lots of other things. But, yeah. Oh, what happened? And this on high volume down bar. This does not mean the crypto is ready to fully reverse direction. But it is possible. Stopping volume and some support. Viewing the volume in terms of harmony, I can see that the last up move was on declining volume. This means that the large players, or the market, I shouldn't say, not just the large players, the market is not interested in the up move yet. The next things to look for, thank you, darling, are two. The next things to look for are 1. Closes below 1818 / 1743. This is bearish. Next, number 2, lack of interest in the up move. They're not interested if you see this lack of interest in the up move towards the resistance at 2763. And number 3, rejections at, and I'm going to give you the rejection area. There, exactly where price is at right now. this is right here. 2360 to 260. Okay. Yeah, it's about $100 spread and exactly where its price is right now. It's an end cut resistance. Okay. Rejection at this end cut at. Okay. So I'm going to be looking for those things, because if we go up and they're not interested, then guess what? You're probably going to see the down move again. Okay. Another thing I'm going to be looking for is high volume against the down move. Exactly. If it happens, like, just say we go up to April 6th and we hit this price here and it's on high volume underneath this old flat, I'm also going to be paying attention to the larger oscillation, which may be somewhere between this area. In fact, we're going to do this right now. I'm going to put a hypothetical mid-phantom area. It's right about there. Now, this is going to be unclear right now for some of you, but I'm going to go to back to a 1 month chart, and there it should become clear. Okay? No? Okay. We'll highlight this, hide all the drawings, and I'm going to draw it by hand so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Watch me. If it's not clear, it's going to be in just a second. I'm going to pull out my crayons. Top, bottom, 50%. In the 50% area, as a range, there is support in the past, and it's very possible this could come down to here. It's very possible that what we're actually looking at is a much larger oscillation. Okay, so I'm putting it back on, and you can see where it's at. Triple J has a number here. She wrote benchmark, and it's about that area, and I'm going to bring it down a hair to about where it probably should. And let's measure it just to get a very accurate picture. To about where Triple J's number is. And so this one is going to tell us we can go up a little bit. And that's going to be about right. Okay, and then we'll come down to here. Somewhere around Triple J's number is about where the old bottom flat is. So I'm going to be looking still within this oscillation. All right. So if you're asking me about Ethereum right now, I'm not convinced this is the time where it's still going to go up. I'm going to be looking at that foundational line probably on the monthly chart, so that's probably 2 weekly chart. And then I'm going to be looking for that to be the big short for Ethereum. Okay. Plus, this is rejection resistance, local end cut, and the flat. Okay. So when I say rejection and end cut, that near that area, and flat at 49. What is the number? Oh, I gotta update this number. 2319 2231. And this is going to be a mid phantom. And that's all I want to say about this. Do we have other questions? Ethereum. So I'm going to be looking for that low volume into that area or a high volume up bar into that area. One of those two scenarios, letting me know that there's still rejection on purpose. And either way, I'm not going to be looking to buy until I get to this area right here. Questions going once for me? Ethereum. I'll pull back on that weekly chart image. Hopefully that happened. Okay. Let's look at one called cause. And here. All right, where's the health that comes into this crypto longer term? It is going to be up here. We can use the health for that one if you just wanted to. Local health will be somewhere here. So that's a local health. What's wrong with that local health? Why am I not interested in buying it even if I get the local health, which we have right now? Why is this unattractive to me? You're picking out a husband. He looks good, but he's got another big issue. He's broke. You're picking out a wife. She looks great, but she can't cook. Doesn't like to cook or clean. Not supportive. Resistance at the parabolic, that's right. You can have some of your great oscillations broken. Some of you guys are quick to jump into those relationships with those cryptos without checking deeper. Too much baggage. Unresolved issues that got to be worked out. Too many big problems we need to deal with the crypto. Not saying they can't overcome those issues, but at the moment it becomes more risk, and you have to know what you're doing if you're going to navigate those situations. This is a crypto that has a foundational area that's here. And to save you headache, you need to take the oscillation, the highest energy centers, in between those areas. It's going to be here, the lowest energy center in between those areas. If it was an up move, it would look the highest. Hold on. Like that. And in a down move, it would look like this. Okay. So we take that parabolic and you duplicate the parabolic and you just click it, make sure they're lined up. And you click it in place right there where it goes. So we take that angle and click it in place. And we did, and they should be lined up. Let's make sure they're lined up. And you bring it in place. And here we are. So we can see that we're actually rejecting on the underside of this. For me to go up next, I have to determine how much money is there between here and here. If the breakout were to happen really soon, there was very little money to be made. But if it happens later on, maybe there's more money to be made. Some people may take advantage of these trades that are in here. Some of you may have even taken advantage over the weekend, and you can do trades like that. But this is where you really need to be, because this is where we need to be next for the health, for the next health. From here, we got a chance to start going back up. But otherwise, the people who lost money by buying this move, that move, they bought here. They're very much in pain. They're okay with this oscillation. This is where they're not being okay. And the people who also bought along this track within this oscillation, they're okay with that oscillation. They're still buying. They also lose money, and they start getting out here. So two big places where they start getting out, here and here. Those two places. So now that we're up here, we need to understand that every time you touch there, don't be surprised if you get a strong rejection. Some of you guys will be like, yeah, look, we got the breakout, and you're buying here, but you're not looking in the past. What issues do we got to deal with? We got some deliverance ministry we got to go through. You're getting in relationships with cryptos without doing your due diligence and your homework. You say, I do, without going to your counseling. You're saying you're a do without doing your homework. You find yourself in a relationship with somebody you shouldn't be in. You find yourself in a relationship with a crypto you shouldn't be in. At least without the proper red lights and green lights. So let's draw some of these resistances a little bit more. I'm just going to bring this one out. And I'm going to put some numbers on the board for you. 0.0044, 400,418. All right. This number can come up a hair, 27 to 24, 8. 0.00248. All right. I think that's all I want to look at here on the higher time frames. And I'm going to go to a smaller time frame. But first, let me write down some of this in the text. March 16, 2026. This crypto has strong rejection on the underside of the parabolic phantom at 0.0027, 0.0024 area. All right, let's look at the volume now. All right, very strong volume on this crypto into the health. That's a good thing. This might be some bearish pushing, bullish pushing. Here also is where we want the high volume to indicate some strong stopping volume. We just get some here. Do I have the large accumulation I'm looking for? No, I don't. And this is going to be a very concerning thing. I don't have the accumulation. I don't think I'm ready to start going to the moon for this crypto. High volume bars that are into weakness, you do got to pay attention to them. High volume bars that are into health, you got to pay attention to them. See how we have the high volume bar here? Very high volume, but look where we go. We go into weakness. That means we're going down. Okay? That's the kind of stuff that you're going to be looking at as an example. Okay? I want to show it to you what this means. See? Here's our high volume, but the move is into weakness. You should be going down. Here's another example on the same chart. Here's our another move. There's our up move. Two of them. And they work in tandem. Here's your foundational area, right? This is rejection. This is your weakness. This is your next local weakness. A flat. And the flat. And then your next local weakness would be somewhere along this track here. When we see this on high volume on the up bar, but look at the bar, it's closing near the low in the middle, and the move is into weakness. So when we have that in context, we start thinking to ourselves, this is selling. Just like the last one. The next bar is a high volume, but where is it into? It's into the resistance and into weakness. So there's the weakness. as denoted by the foundational area. This area told us about this area. We got that? And when we see it on high volume, it's on the up bar, so it's on the wrong bar. Professional selling happens on the up bar. And what was it? It was selling. And it was confirmed here into this weakness. So this was telling us get out, confirming here. This was telling us get out, confirming here. What is it telling us? Weakness, weakness. Just this one was telling us back here. So this is how we are going to view this. Now, with that being said, what are we looking at? What's wrong with this picture? Tell me what's wrong so far. Now that I've highlighted that to you, what's wrong with this picture? Somebody solve the equation for us. I take a bite of that snack. What could be wrong with this picture? If there's something wrong with it. Maybe selling. What could be wrong with this? Why is it selling? Why might be selling here? And yes, good job. Big selling volume. It might be selling volume. Up move into the health, not into, in the health, not in weakness. It's an up move into the resistance. So there's the resistance, right? Okay, we need to get back up here if we're actually going to go up. But this is the wrong place for it to happen. If they really wanted to throw a lot of money at it and buy it at these prices, is this really buying? Then why didn't it happen in any of these bars here? Think about the price. If they're saying, oh, they're throwing 40 billion worth of shares at 0.0016. If this is really buying, they could have paid for it here and here. What were they doing back there in those bars? Some of those bars were on nothing. October. If they were really buying and could pay this price, why didn't they pay that price? Or even the lower prices down here. Because remember, if you're buying something, you want to pay some of the lowest prices you can get. Or even here. Let's talk about what happened just before this. Okay, look at the volume. It's almost nothing. Nothing. Now they want to pay higher prices for something? If I take you to a real estate auction, just think about it logically. And say, hey, they're going to sell this home. They're going to sell this home, and the home's going for only $1,000. You got $1,000? You're like, yeah, I got that on my credit card. But I'm not interested. And everybody on the roads, there's $1,000. Something's wrong. Okay, then maybe they don't want $1,000. Maybe it's not worth $1,000. Maybe it's not worth $1,000. And then they drive the price to $50,000, $60,000, now $100,000. Now you're starting to buy. Who's buying? Either these people are fools, or they're not buying. Something's off, right? They're not buying at the right place. Okay? When you see that happening, pay attention, my friends. Pay attention. Because sometimes it tells you they're not launching the campaign there. And if they do launch the campaign to buy, if they're launching a buying campaign, then what are the actions they're supposed to have? We're supposed to see volume rising steadily on the down move. Okay, maybe the volume's rising steadily here on this down move from here to here. Okay, so maybe that's the buying from here to here. Okay, then why did we go below the flat into weakness on another high volume up bar and then make another lower low? Does this make sense? It should be screaming risk for us. If this is a break, let somebody else take that, because I'm guessing there might be something we may have missed, because it's not the right order. It's not, something's wrong with the order of operation. And when you see those kind of things, you're just aware. I may not be able to short this, but I'm telling you what, there's possibly some strong, large players, very large, who are doing something here. And my guess is, it's quite simple. They lost money in this oscillation here, somewhere up here, and these guys who are more the more immediate players, which is along the parabolic curve, which we tracked already, they lost money here, so they're going to be getting out. That's the best price. So if I saw these players, these people are like, oh, I just wish price comes back up anywhere within our normal range, which we bought. I wish we can buy that. Oh, it did. Good, good. What are they going to do? They have all their stop orders ready to go. So those orders are going to get filled, and it's going to be a lot. So there's too much supply. It's not ready to go up. All right. Anyway, let's go to the last crypto. Did you have any other questions about this area? This crypto strong rejection on the underside of the parabolic phantom at this area. This is on ultra high volume up bar on N. Ultra high volume up bar. This indicates it is possible strong selling rather than bullish pushing. If it is bullish pushing, it is still very high risk to buy this crypto due to the massive resistances at 0.0045 and 0.0029. 20. Wait, no. This area, 2.6 average area. All right. This is these classes and just breaking up some of these cryptos. Even though you guys are just asking me to do maps, I normally do tutorials on Wednesdays. A lot of it's going to help you guys stay out of a lot of danger. I want you guys to stay very safe. Here's a look at crude oil from Friday. So I looked at this on Friday. I do apologize. I'll take a screenshot for you. This is a map that I did in my private in class. And I do have a resistance there in the sky of a number that I do have my eye on. 561, 535. Some of the next numbers are 131, 177, 218 for crude oil. Okay. All right. I'm going to look at USDT.D. So it looks like we had our first weakness back in March 11th. Okay. This is our foundational up move. You guys all have these numbers on the board. You guys had them for many months or a long time. Here's all the way back from January. Okay. So there's our first weakness. I did draw an end cut average for you guys at 735. I drew this one. I didn't draw this one so long ago. This one I think I drew and uploaded just for you guys on Wednesday. But it's here, right at 735. This is where the end cut support should be based on these things. I'm also going to show you that I have some more supports on the board. We have a delta support. I'll give you the numbers for this, 0.7081. And then I'll give you my thoughts as well. 7.042. So 7.08, 7.42, that's going to be somewhere I have my eye on for a delta support. And then I'll give you you guys already have this target on the board, so they're just going to continue moving to the right. This is where the big weakness comes in. It's going to be underneath here. Okay. And that's because that's where the real oscillation is at. That's the real foundational area. So this is a foundational area. And you guys have this one since October to January. So you guys do have this one that we've drawn sometime after January, especially after the breakout here in January 26. So this is where the game changes. It's really underneath here. You are losing this local health. So that means that there's support till the end cut and then probably a move back up. And when this is going down, your cryptos are going up. And when this is going up, your cryptos are coming down. So when this occurred, this should be a bullish move for the crypto market, right? And what did we see over this past weekend? A bullish move. Okay. We were to visit our parents this Saturday, so thank you very much for our Camino for hosting. He did host on Saturday. Okay, so thank you very much, Camino. And he gave his thoughts on the markets and did that for some of you guys. We're going to. This is my current analysis right now of where I'm at on the market. So this should be a very bullish weekend. And we got a move all the way back down to our last little support. I did have a support about here, and then the actual official end cut's a little bit lower, and it's here. So both of those supports are acting quite nicely. We can delete now these and clean up this chart a bit. Okay, round structure against the core cluster. We're still looking for that. Are we ready to go up at this moment? One of the ways I'm going to be looking for is if we have a high volume on the down bar, but it's into health, we're going to be looking at that as buying. We have high volume on this down bar here, and this is where I put possible accumulation. It was right here in this area. We did have high volume, but what are we missing for the next move upwards? We're missing the health. We don't got the health, right? So high volume, this is going to tell us possible indication, and then we're going to say this, we still don't have health. And I can put the little date here. I'm going to put March update. March 16th, still no health. Okay, so we still don't have the health after this date. Okay, and this was March 4th. March 4th, possible accumulation. Update March 16th, no health. So we still don't have the health. In fact, weakness enters here on this day. One of the next things we're going to be looking for is if we get a move like this, and I'll show you what I'm looking for. If we get a move like this on high volume, we can actually compare the volume again. If the volume is higher the second time, if we were to see a very high second volume, it almost tells us assuredly there's too much trading willing to play, and we should play down here on those moves. So we don't want to see an excess of volume at those areas. We do, however, see some high volume bars on the down move, and some of them are just coming all the way back up. So that is somewhat of a good thing, and yet could be some stopping volume. So it's going to be somewhere here and here, those high volumes here. And even now, today's bar, we got 8 hours left, and yet look at the volume already. It's very high for just today alone. And it's on a down bar. So I do want to compare these to these areas to tell us that we have absorbed the supply in this area. If we see too much volume and the volume's increasing at points A to B, they're not done with this area. We're probably going to play a little bit longer. Right now, as it's looking for today, because the volume is already high, I'm going to say they're not done with this area. Okay, we can draw where those local healths are, but they're not going to give us much wiggle room, because even from here to here, we still need the big breakout, right? We still need that big breakout. We need to be there before we go up. Okay, we can't go up without the breakout. Okay, otherwise we're still going to be rejected and playing here. And all the while, we're going to pay attention to some of the larger stuff that may be happening. And you guys can look at the market in its entirety. There's a large round structure that is happening here. So we really got to pay attention to some of these things. Now, if I have high volume here and we're really going down, I'm gonna let you guys know what I'm gonna be looking for, so we can just be really realistic about these things. If I'm really going up, I want to see high volume distribution. Okay, I want to see a high volume distribution. That means that it would look something like this. Okay, see how we have round. Actually, I'll flip it upside down. You guys can see it. Okay. See how we have this large round structure here and the volume's high? They're letting us know that they're exiting the crypto. We can see the moves into weakness. That would be like that. Okay, now this is just a hypothetical because I flipped the chart upside down. Okay, in the past. If I would saw the high volume in this area, I know they're taking action. They're getting out. High volume into the weakness. They were selling. Here's another example of how it might look. And this one, the foundational area is more straight. So we'd be looking at high volume in these areas to let us know and they are high volume in those areas, that they're getting out. Okay, that's how that would look. Does that make sense? You guys can take a screenshot. I don't want you to be confused later on me uploading this. If I do, I just can put example. Okay. This is the kind of stuff you look for when you're going to reverse. Okay, do we understand that? And I will actually write those words on the board. Examples of what to look for when the trend is really reversing long term. And that means, are we really going up? Are we really going down? Okay. Now remember, we really pay attention to USDT.D because what happens in USDT.D happens in the market. So you're saying, Jason, I got this round structure now. Okay. Do we see what it is you're actually looking for? Let me give you an example of what not to look for. Okay. Here's the round structure, right? Do we agree that's round structure, right? Yes, no? Yeah? Are you guys with me, or did you guys fall asleep? Okay. What's missing in the volume at these areas? What's the volume? Is the volume doing and acting like the example? What is the volume actually doing? In the same area. What is the volume actually doing? It's decreasing. Does it look like the example I just showed you for a true reversal? Okay. It's just lack of interest. The volume's actually going down. This is why I try to have some of these sessions where I teach you guys this, so you know what you're actually looking for. The volume is actually not increasing. It's just lack of interest. And so the battle has to play out. Okay, the battle has to play out. You can look at the flat and use that as your breakout. You can look at the local healths that would come in this market. And then you can look for action. You can look at other factors. We knew there was a large parabolic support there from the other maps. We knew we had that. Okay, you guys, that's how we knew in October the markets were crashing. Okay. And a few other areas. Okay. This was the parabolic. We had that from a long time ago. See? But that's just if you guys are curious. Okay. We've had that. Okay. But let's hide back our lines again just to keep things simple for you. When you see round action, you're like, oh, now the markets are reversing. Are they really reversing? Where do we look at? Okay. So let's glean some things. If we're isolating the volume, we want to see the volume increasing, especially on the up move. We want to see those moves into weakness. We got them this weekend right here. Are we really going to start a new trend to down? And then we'll talk about what this means in a bit. Let's first isolate this part, this component. A little chimney looking area. This was on very high volume, isn't it? What might that have been in hindsight? It starts with an S. There's two things it could be. What is this volume possibly? Okay. Could be selling as confirmed here into here. As confirmed into the weakness. We consolidated for a while and then we come into the weakness. So there may be some selling here and that can help drive price down. And that's one factor to consider. Correct. What's another factor that it might be? Starts with an S. What might be? Shakeout? Could be a shakeout. If you zoom in, you can see that it will look like a shakeout bar in hindsight. Could be a shakeout. What's the other thing it could be? Shakeout, selling. I'm going to give you the answer if you guys don't know it. I'm pretty sure you don't know it. If anybody gets it, I'll be very surprised and happy and proud. Stopping. Good job, BVD. Stopping volume. Good job. I'm surprised. I'm happy. Good job. Stopping volume. Stopping volume is when you have high volume in a certain area that's based on some resistance, or traders trading the other way. They already have orders, they're ready, or that's where they're going to take action. People get stopped out and orders will naturally be created. People are margined out, a lot of things like that. That's a very common thing for stopping volume. It basically just stops price in its tracks. Not that it's going to reverse price, but oftentimes it'll be denoted by consolidation. Okay, then you got to really pay attention to what that originally was. So if this is not enough to drive us down, you generally want to isolate these in their strides. Okay, so this may be something that of a bit of a stopping volume for what was happening here. And then we're going to look to see what happened. Now, if I were to take away this noise for just a moment, the stopping volume, we're left with something that looks a little bit like this. We got a round structure into weakness, but it also still is on lack of interest. You can still see the volume is not really conducive to a large drop because it's on decreased volume overall. Okay. And the high volume you do have is on the down bar. Sorry. The high volume you do have is on the down bar, back up into a local health. Interesting. Something worth paying attention to. This is giving me vibes that it's not correct, not matching the image I just showed you a little while ago about a true reversal. And then again, I'm going to talk about what this means. Here's the examples of how they work. Real reversals. Round structures, the volumes are rising into the weaknesses. Here's our up move. The foundational line's broken. We move into the weakness, high volume. Here's one example that does not work. We move into the local weakness, but the move's not done. Here, where's the local weakness on this one? It is here. I'm just going to draw it for you. Approximately here. If this was a parabolic, there's your local weakness. So here's the local weakness. Everybody's like, oh, we better reverse course. But again, the data is telling us something is not right. Are you hearing me? I'm getting vibes that something's not right again. Okay? You can go into your local weakness. Okay, we can go into our local weakness, but I'm getting vibes that something is not right. I'm going to add this to this image here. So you can see what alarm bells are going off in my head. This is an example of, this is another example with a move into local weakness. Yet the volume is not right. It is on decreasing volume, except stopping volume, or the possible stopping volume. Or we'll just leave that stopping volume, yeah. This may mean the down move is not the real direction, even if we are in a local weakness area. This means, in other words, beware taking trades in this direction. In context, when this chart goes down, cryptos go up. Therefore, be careful taking longer term bullish trades. Okay, at the moment. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, this is example number 2 for the what's not right. This is example number 1 for not being right. And I will make sure I give you guys this image. Example number 1 of the round structure not being correct. Okay. I shouldn't say the round structure not being incorrect alignment with volume. Okay, not harmony for the down move. Okay. So this is going to be a little bit of concerning for me. In addition to all of these things, we'll remember that the larger foundational move is still in play. Okay. And I'll hide my lines one more time. So you guys remember this is the truth. Okay, the foundational line is super, super important. And I'm going to put this also in my report. So here's that image. And then, in addition to all these things, the down move is still very much in, the up move is still very much in play, not down. The up move is still very much in play. Okay, this is the big takeaways in the market. This means that I have to use, that one must use caution, thinking that the trend is fully ready to reverse. Okay. What is the date? March 16th. And I'll put some little areas here. This is where we start thinking about those kinds of things. Otherwise, we're still within this bullish oscillation. Okay. We're still in the uptrend. Does it make sense why I want to be cautious? So when you hear everyone screaming, oh, we need to buy the market, we need to buy the market, some of our basic foundational areas are still in play. Gotta be real careful. Gotta be very careful. This chart should be a very much big warning for all of us to just use caution before trying to load up the bank and picking the bottom of the market. Have a reason. Is your reason technical, fundamental? Mine's is fundamental, because that's where we shine in this art. Okay. I am going to be looking at one more thing on this chart. And that'll be the last big commentary I have for the market as a whole. that number, that's hurting my eyes. Okay, I am done drawing a 6-hour chart, and although there's support at the N35 average for an end cut, I'm going to give you just a few more numbers before the session is over. One of the first ones I'm going to do is the local parabolic on a 6-hour chart, so you can understand where the next breakout may be. And for me, I'm actually going to be looking at this area here, which is not so far away. You get above there, we're going to probably have a chance, another shot at hitting the numbers up there again, right here at 86806. So that breakout is somewhere right now, currently at 761, and you can use a 6-hour chart for that local move. Okay, this is just local stuff. So if I get above here, I'm going to be looking to go up and possibly see the up move back to the top. Otherwise, you're going to be looking for the battle to continue in here. And then the next local weakness will be underneath 735 average. So if you get below 735, you're going to be actually looking to come down probably to the delta. After that, that's when I'm going to be really looking for the game to change, because the weakness can ensue from here or anywhere here or even up here longer term. I'll give you the maximum time so you guys can understand the maximum time. Right now, the maximum time we're probably looking at is this next vortex window. It's going to be April 19th. April 19th. So price has to make a decision by April 19th, because that's where these oscillations come together, approximately April 19th. And they'll come together on the bigger time frames. It's like a daily and weekly chart. April 19th, vortex. Okay, so this is the maximum time price has to do something. If you're unfamiliar with vortexes, basically price cannot wiggle here, otherwise it fades into weakness, on the side of weakness. Okay, otherwise it's gonna go up into a health, and just by maintaining its current position, it's weakness. But if it goes up, it has to break out. Otherwise, if it stays up the high side, it can phase into a health. So it has to make some kind of structural decision by April 19th, vortex. Okay. So that's one of the things I'm going to be showing you. And the other is local NDP. And I'll put that number on the screen in just a moment. Okay, did anyone have any other questions for me before I go? I won't look at any more new cryptos for today. I'm out of time for today. I'm all done. I got one more number I'm going to give you guys. And then I'll make an announcement. All right. Okay, so I have a number for you guys here in the sky. The number is an NDP number. And it's actually, instead of 8.4, it's actually going to be 9.89 is the official number, and 9.8 2022. So I am going to keep my eyes on that area. I have an NCOD at 10, and then I also have an NDP at that 12 number, 1298. So I do have these numbers in the sky that you guys can look that I have. Okay. This number needs to be the breakout to be in play. This is going to come down. But yeah, my board in the sky will look something like this. I'll make sure you guys can get a good image. And there you go. Okay, so that's basically where we're at. Okay, in the board. So that's the image I'll upload, you guys. Okay, anyone have any other questions for me? I think, how does one trade this kind of market? This market, I would only be looking, I definitely wouldn't short right now because of this territory. Once we're on our way up past 7.6, I'd be only looking for smaller short-term bullish trades, maybe smaller time frames, 1 hour, 15-minute type things, some of the local stuff. And that would be the trades that you would take from here to here. Above 7.6, might be looking to short in there. But you're going to see it's going to be very choppy a little bit until we get out and make a clear decision about where we're going. Remember, this local line right here is nothing compared to the larger game that's been played in time. It's a very large DP. We've talked about lots of times. I think it's on the monthly chart. Yeah, it's this. Okay, this oscillation from here to here. This is the DP. It's up there. We were here for several years. 2022. So this local up move that's just here is really just a small blip in the larger scheme of things. So that's why this breakout is such a big breakout above this number. Okay, once you get it, it's above, you're getting into the circle clusters area where we did get the resistance. We knew where that circle cluster was in the mid last year. When we were back here, we knew where this resistance was, and that's when our first stop short trading was being triggered. Okay, this is when short trading gets dangerous, and we hit it almost immediately within just a very short time. And that's bad for the market. But the next segment is when we get above here and we start hitting those other 9 numbers. It's going to be really bad. I'm actually going to be looking, therefore, at a few other things on Wednesday. And that means on Wednesday, I'm going to be looking at Bitcoin. We'll look at total and total 3. So I'll be really paying attention to some of those this weekend, especially as we get closer to the bottom area here. Okay, but it does not have my seal of approval personally for me to start going to taking bullish trades, because I can just be taking that weaknesses like that into certain areas where there's a big support. Okay. I can add Brett to Wednesday along with Toshi was the other requested. Okay. Brett. But I'm going to be looking at Bitcoin and primarily using Wednesday for Bitcoin, total, and total 3. Okay. Any other questions? My thoughts, my opinions. Remember, when this chart goes up, your cryptos are going down. When this chart is going down, your cryptos are going up. And the local health came in on last week. Okay. Those numbers are not changing, guys. These numbers don't change. The angles don't change. Okay. More angles will be revealed, but they don't change. Primarily. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, anything else I'm missing before I go? A question for me. Make sure I'm giving you guys all the right things I want to say about the market. Yeah, I remember taking a screenshot specifically of this end cut. The support we're on right now. I took it on my phone and it was vertical. Did I? Yeah, I was like, oh, I better get that. What's it here? Oh yeah, it was already on my chart at that time. March 4th, was it here? 76762. 7667662. No, that one's just a little higher. That was the other one. That was that one. Okay. I have a different one later on. Okay. I know because I got it on my phone. Yep, because it's there. Okay, any other questions for me? Okay. All right, I think I had one announcement. And, oh, yes, my announcement. At least it's USDT.D, USDT.C together. I can look at them together if you want to. We'll look at them. We'll look at them together. What is it called? USDT.D slash USDC.D. Yeah, we can look at them together. Okay, the last announcement I have, I preached a message yesterday of part 2 of a series it's called When Your Faith is Failing. And I really strongly felt the anointing of the Lord on this message. And I know that I'm preaching to some people that may be in our community now. I don't know who you are, but I know when the Lord is like, this needs to be for, somebody needs to hear this. I really encourage you, if you're not listening to WordRoom, the WordRoom messages or the podcast, I pray that you listen, but I'd like you to watch the video because we follow along and I highlight the scriptures that you guys are seeing right on the board. And I just want you to be encouraged this week. Listen to last week's message. This is going to be yesterday, March 15th. And if you want to, you can listen to the first part of the series as well. But you don't have to listen to both. But I really, if you pray and you say, man, I feel like I need to listen to that message, the Lord will tell your spirit, especially if you need to be there, that listen to it. I believe it's a very encouraging message that some people need to hear. And after I listened to the I just said to myself, wow, Lord, I really feel like you were speaking to some of the strong people. And sometimes that message is for a time in the future. Sometimes it's for somebody who's going to need to hear it at a specific time. And there's times when I really feel a strong anointing to say something, to speak something more than just my skill as a minister. And I can feel when the Holy Spirit's really moving strongly through the minister as the disciples were preaching often, and they said it was very important for them to preach the gospel and to preach the message and to share. And I wanted to encourage you guys to listen to the message, okay? Father, we thank you for this time. We thank you for this chart room. We thank you for the great gift that you've given us this month with the stone. We thank you, Lord, for all the new cuts that you've given us, such as NCut and NDB. I pray that you would bless all of those who are drawing and applying their art to their maps and creating maps and in all the things that they're doing. I pray that they'll be skilled in every method and technique that they are using as they put their paint on the brush, as they put their crayons on the screen, Lord, as we apply our art. And Lord, I pray that you'd be with us powerfully as we put our trust and our hope in you. Protect our families, Lord. Put your love upon us and put your care upon us and make your face to shine upon us, Lord. I pray that your blessings flow and follow us all the days of our lives. And I pray that you yourself, Lord, would rebuke the devourer for our sake. And may the Lord rebuke the enemy. And we pray, Lord, that you would give us wisdom and insight into all that we're doing. Give us patience for the times we need to have patience. Give us courage for the times we need to have courage. Let us sit on our hands in the markets when we need to sit on our hands, and let us take action when we need to take action. Give us the wisdom to know the difference. Let us get our feet wet and try, and let people try to apply wisdom to what they are looking at. Keep us from all the voices that we shouldn't be listening to, whether it's online or through ministers or whoever we're supposed to. Anyone who has a biblical opinion, but not necessarily the God's opinion or the opinion that you have for us, Lord. I pray, Lord, that we would be guarded from all the temptations and lures of the enemy, from his pool and all the directions we shouldn't have, Lord. When you see the wolves coming in sheep's clothing, I pray that you would drive them away and that you would remove a spirit of fear and give us a spirit of love, sound mind, and give us the wisdom to lie down in the green pastures where you have us to lie down and drink the water when you tell us to drink the water, but also the wisdom and the courage and strength to follow you, to go when you, as a shepherd, are leading us to new pastures, to waters, to green. And as we follow you all throughout our lives, may we become dependent on you, as you told us to be dependent on you. For the birds even are dependent on you, and the flowers are dependent on you, the fields are dependent on you. And although we try and run and we're always trying to be independent from you, let us first learn that dependence on you and trust you for even our daily bread. And you told us, Lord, give us this day our daily bread. And this is counterintuitive to many adults who are so used to just making things happen on our own and always trying to make it happen on our own. And it's different to rely on you, because that means surrendering our will towards you and what you have for our lives. Give every person the strength to follow you in fullness and to go where you send them to go, and to do what you have them to do, and to reach the world with the gospel. And let us experience your kingdom. Let us see the power. Let us see the miracles, the signs, the wonders, the healings, deliverances. Let us see the works and the fruits of the Holy Spirit as manifest in our lives in every way that it can. So let us experience that. I pray that even while we're still alive, that we would even be able to experience heaven and see heaven. And if you would take us to see hell, and then let us share our testimony with the lost, and we ourselves as being plucked from the fire, as the scripture says. Snatch us, Lord, and protect us from the fire. Fill us with your Holy Spirit, and let us be filled with your words. Let us be filled in our lips always filled with worship. And we invite you into our homes. We ask that you would forgive us our great and many sins that we have committed in our life, a strong rejection of you, a strong rejection of the truth, for the times that we were like lost sheep, for the times we were like the prodigal son, for the times that we are running outside and running away from you, when you never left us, but we left you. Father, forgive us for all the times that we left you and we went our own way. For many is the time that we have, as peoples, have rejected you, as the scripture says. So, Lord, I pray that you would forgive us, Lord, and we would turn to you, fast and pray. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. May the Lord be with you, my friends. And I'll be right back to say goodbye. God bless you. All right. Big week for me, guys. Very big week for me. We're doing some testing on our side now that God has given us some strong breakthroughs in our things that we are building in our off camera. Keep us in your prayers as we do some tests. This is a good strawberry. This is a really good strawberry. Hey, Camino, thank you for doing Saturday. Oh, yeah. Did you get cut off on that part? I went pretty in depth. Okay. Oh, okay. So these were. Did you see the examples I gave of how it should look for a real reversal? Um, when the video comes out, you can take a look at it, because I go in depth of what it doesn't look, what we're actually looking for. So we're looking like these. Okay, and this was just USDT.D flipped upside down, so you guys can see the same principle. Okay, this is what it looks like when it's not right. Okay, some of the things we're looking for is the decrease in volume after the initial stopping volume, by the way, the high volume. Okay, the move is into a local weakness. As you can see, this is a local weakness. Okay, but we also knew this of support. Okay, so we know where the supports are. We need this because of the larger USDT.D support right there from the parabolic way back from 2022. Okay, so we know that. So when you see these with the local weakness, not that one, this one, local weakness, and the volume is on decreasing volume, as if there was not a campaign to really bring us down. Something not right. They're not really interested in the down move. And that's a concern. If you get moves still back into health, either here or at the breakout, you're still on your way up. Okay, so this was concerning. This is how it's not supposed to look, and this is how it's supposed to look. So I talk about this in the video, and you can see it. Later on, Melody will upload it. Now today, the things that don't look right is, apart from the initial stopping volume / shakeout bars, apart from that, we are decreasing in the down move or in the consolidation. And the high volumes that we do have is on the down bar itself with move back up. So I'm concerned that even though I have a local weakness, local weakness, in context, so this is on decreasing volume in this area. And I'm a bit concerned that's really all we're looking at is something like this. The up move is still in play. In addition to all these things, the up move is very much in play. This means that one must use caution, thinking that the trend is full, ready to reverse. You see, the foundational area is still in play from here to here. So that's a very much what I'm looking at. Some averages around 845, but I gave you guys the number of 9.8 for a next resistance in this area. But by that time, that will be above in health. So I'm actually looking for a few things. I'm actually looking for this to play out. Supports at the bottom, 7.8. The target at 6.9. I'm not ready for this crypto to fully move into the weakness or really reverse, which means when this comes down, we'd be becoming bullish. This is now a 6-hour chart. The vortex is around April 19th, next month. Price will have made its decision. If we come up on high volume and as fades into weakness, come up on high volume, I'm going to be looking for a bull market. Right now, I'm not using this local weakness as the end-all be-all, but just towards the in-cut support. And right now, it's at 735. Yeah. That's not really still looking for me. We're really ready to break out of this trend. And that because otherwise I wouldn't be looking for high volume at the highs. And I'm just not really seeing that type of moves. That's good as a stopping volume. But the rest of the move is just into weakness on lack of volume. This is the kind of pattern we're looking for. We're looking for the high volumes on those up bars into those weaknesses throughout. Here's another example. High volume. You can clearly see a strong distinction. This is all like, where's that? Where's the real money telling us that, yes, this is going to reverse? So as it is, it's not right. It's not right. So I told myself for this on Wednesday, I will look at Bitcoin, total 3. And for Lisa, I'll look at USDT.D and the USDC compared together. But that's going to give me a better clue because this one's saying, something's fishy, something's up. So let's put the others on the board and see where the market really is. Is it really ready to turn around at this point? I don't think so. That's currently what I'm looking at. We should, you should have a few more. You because of that health. I mean, I say health. It's actually weakness. But when this comes down, cryptos go up. Because of this, you should have some bullish days. And we came in March 11th. 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. So yeah, you should have a few weeks or so. You have some room for some help. So I don't know if I'm not going to put too much weight on the exact days. You're welcome. Yep, I'm still in this up direction. I'm still in that camp. Yep. Yep. Especially with all the volume that we had at the down mark. I just don't see this as anything but a blip along the way. They are not interested in the down move. You know what I mean? It's just not there. Here's the health on the high volume. So this is them entering. This is how we knew these are looking that we need to reverse, which we've talked about. That's how I knew the market crash was going to happen when this comes up. Now, look at this down move. Who's interested in this? We'll zoom in on this so you guys can see it. Who's really interested in the grand scheme of things on this down move? Look at the first down move. And here's the second down move. You can hunt these things, guys. You can hunt these things and you're going to be to great success. The up move's on harmony. It's telling you what it wants. It's saying, hey, I like the up move. Look at the context where we're at. And then look what it's saying it doesn't like. It's saying, nah, I don't like the down move. I don't like this. Okay? I don't like this. It's telling you, are we going to pay attention? Okay? We don't have to be rocket scientists. A few crayons is good enough. Okay? You know what I mean, guys? Okay? It already moved into position. This is why I told people the buying really needs to be the last thing on our minds because of this. The market changed. And a lot of the gravity is that we're going to be in higher numbers for some time until the market's ready to reverse, just because this is what it was building. And the confirmations we had and needed really all way back here when we had the healths that we needed. Almost everything we needed to know was way back then. Just as a little bonus, guys, the game changed. It let us know everything was happening. That's why we knew in October, guys, market is gonna crash. Or is this October was here? Okay, it's this. I haven't seen the game change. If anything, it's telling us still you're going the wrong way. The market doesn't want those. It doesn't. You don't believe me? Anyone. If you guys don't believe me, just read what it's telling you. It'll tell you in harmony after the move has happened. Read your harmony. It's going to tell you what it really wants. And right now it's saying, I don't want this. So your job is to hunt those moves. And when the down move's over, that's when you strike. To a great extent to your next targets. And we got a lot on the sky, right? You got a lot. So you guys can watch those and have peace for the most part. Because I guarantee there's going to be a large group of people online, on here. Oh, now is the time to strike. Now is the time to strike. And they're going to be telling you to strike. And your eyes are It's not what your eyes are looking at. You know what I mean? What is it? The Bible says the Bereans were more noble character because they studied diligently to see if that's what the preacher was saying was actually in the word. Had to line up with what they were saying, right? When you're looking at a chart or you're hearing a piece of information, even your own thoughts, you want to line them up to what you're seeing, because oftentimes it's going to start telling you once the move starts what you're really looking for, and it's going to help you stay. Now, I'm not saying short now the market again. I'm not saying that. We're at that cluster. But we can be drawing some kind of to when this is going to end. For us, we already know where it's all at. It's basically 866 on a higher time frame, like a monthly or weekly chart. So we all know it's 866. So you guys are going to be just fine. We're watching that area for that breakout. The down move itself as a whole, we're going to need to watch, and would have to try to calculate the down move itself. Maybe we can use parabolic. Maybe we can draw some other oscillations. Maybe we can draw the straight. That's a good angle right there. It's maybe about right there. That's going to be a great angle for us to draw this. What chart was that on? That was on a one-day chart. Yeah. Yeah. I think you guys are going to be just fine. Okay. That's probably the chart I'm going to draw this down move. I'll collect all three of those points. Yeah, you guys can do that, right? Did we already do this? Yeah, we did. Basically, we just need to update the line for the local daily. And for me, that's going to be right there. That's how I will draw it. Right there in white. It's about the same area. Okay. Okay, anyone else for me before I go for today? Questions, comments, thoughts? All right, I'm going to get to work. I'll leave you guys a room. I'll leave Superfood the host. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.